moving forward. And you can see the remnants of Mario Moraes' car being towed away. And another guy that's made the long overnight flight from Motegi, Japan is with Brienne Pedigo.
Just give me 1 second here, Marty. We've got Helio Castroneves, fresh from Japan, all the way to Long Beach, California. What a trip.
What a trip, literally, yes. But it's great. It's great to be here again, back. Obviously, I have my calculator on to make sure that I see what the other driver's going to do and score the points. And but it was a tough race. It was good. I mean, Danik ended up winning. It was great for the open wheel again. And I guess we have the great momentum. You know, open wheel series definitely is in a good momentum.
I got to ask you about the last 3 laps of, I guess it wasn't last night for you. It was last night for us, Sunday in Japan for you. What happened when Danica took the lead from you?
Well, I actually didn't know she was in the lead, and the guys in my pit said let her by, and I just realized on the next lap when I saw my number kind of like second, I'm like, wait a minute, but it was good because I probably, if I would have tried hold her off, I would end up out of fuel. So we didn't have enough fuel. We definitely end up like 0. So she won fair and square, and good for her.
Now, you've had some success here at this racetrack in the past. What's your thought on coming back and racing here?
Just to be here, you know, watching right now, I'm like, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be watching. But you know what? Patience. You need to be patient. Next year, we're going to be here. You're going to see this is even better.
Now, you are the current points leader. Are you a little nervous sitting in the stands watching some guys trying to knock you off that #1 spot?
Well, obviously, I'm going to, like I said, I'm making the calculation here. And let's see what's going to happen. Still a lot of race. So hopefully nobody get hurt here.
Well, guys, he's sitting up there with his teammate, Ryan Briscoe, keeping a close eye on some competition.
And we're back to green flag racing as you finish up, Brienne. And out front is Will Power, but Justin Wilson looking to make a move to the inside. Got a battle for the lead. Can he make it stick? Who's got the better brakes? Power holds him off.
Wow, what a great dive into turn 1. A lot of pressure from Wilson going on Will Power, but I'll tell you something, he's making it known that he has a fast car. It was a better restart this time than the previous time. He just wants to let him know that he's not going to let him run away.
What I find interesting is we talked about how in the beginning of the broadcast, the guys that are racing the season-long points championship might be a little conservative. Guess what? The guys in the front 2 positions are racing for the season-long championship, and they're not being very conservative.
You know, it's neat just to see them having a great battle between each other. And, you know, over the weekend, I would have had to have said and agreed with you that I would have thought that Justin Wilson would have had the opportunity to run away with this. His car was just working so well. And when I spoke with Will Power, he said, working on a few things, you know, we just got to tidy some things up, and I think we'll be good. But we're not there yet. Well, they must have made this thing come to life here this morning in warm-up because it's working very well for him now.
Justin Wilson, got a little wheel spin. It looked like he was pulling up on him in turn 11, but Wilson in the 0-2, nope, he's not going to be able to get it done. It's amazing, just that little bit of wheel spin. Look at the difference at the other end.
And it's the drive off of the hairpin down there that is so important. Remember, these cars do not have traction control, and then it's up to the driver to basically put his foot on the throttle as hard as he possibly thinks that he can without spinning the tires. Now, the differential on these cars is open, so you can actually make an adjustment between the ramps and preload and everything like that in the back of those that mechanics work on to give the driver the best acceleration out of the turn, and that's what the engineers work with the drivers to make sure that is working at maximum.
And as we work our way back through the field, we pick up the 06 of Graham Rahal. That's Justin Wilson's teammate. And he has moved from 9th on the starting grid at the start of the race, and he is now moving 6th. And we talked to him before the race about the very topic we've talked about, the guys that are racing for the points championship versus those that are basically looking for a job.
I think you're going to see a lot of drivers that are out there to win, and that's all. And there are a lot of people that are going to step in for their one race this year. And that's going to be tough because obviously we're out there to get good points and to win. And if they're, out there just to finish and win the thing, and, it's a different perspective because they don't care if they crash or crash you. And certainly we care because we need to finish and get the points.
Well, as you ride along with Graham, you notice the clock running, 1 hour and 26 of racing left, a long way to go, and already teams are talking about strategy. We eavesdropped on Graham's team.
Keep working your fuel for the first part of the lap, then get everything nice and warm. We are now racing a fuel strategy race. We're going to want to go longer than the other guys. There's always a fuel strategy, right? That last one, I was just trying not to let Bernaldi get too close. Trying to keep a fair gap.
Bernaldi is the car right behind him, Enrique, in the 36. That's Angari Blue and Silver machine.
You know, it's interesting because on this series here, in the Champ Car Series, there is no options for the driver to change fuel trim inside the cockpit. On the IndyCar Series and the IRL, they have a knob on there which they can go from fuel position 1 through 5. 3 of them are for making the engine run leaner, improving fuel mileage. Yes, you get a little less horsepower, but then you actually let the engine do the management of conserving fuel. Not so here. There's only one position for fuel. It's 100%. And what's going on now?
Trouble.
Off to the side.
Trouble for Justin Wilson. He has pulled up and out as he has made his way into the runoff area. Now, we talked about this before when Tracy went off. You can go through here.
Well, and I got to believe that he knows that he is done because he did not even attempt to make turn 1. He was going down the main straightaway and went off to the right. And you can hear the engine right now is not running. So something happened with it, and he got offline, made the racing room available for the other cars on track. A very professional move.
So that means that man right there, Alex Tagliani, has moved up to second with Justin Wilson, our pole sitter, out of the race. And there is the steering wheel coming off, and he is climbing out. And while he does that, Jack, you have more on Tagliani?
Absolutely, guys. Alex Tagliani knows that this is a fuel race, and what I mean by that, he can calculate the time and the amount of mileage he must make. That is the strategy for this one-off drive for Derek Walker and this cobbled-together team. They've now inherited, after running steadily in third place, they've run into second with Justin Wilson's problem. All through the course of the first part of this race, all Derek Walker and his driver have been discussing is how best to make good fuel mileage, and the best way here to do that is the short shift, Scott.
And Jack, can you bring on something I was trying to finish up there a moment ago before we saw Justin Wilson go offline, is that because the drivers don't have that management system on board like the IRL cars, it's up to the driver, as you're mentioning. So they do short shift, they take their foot off when they're running down the straightaway to try and give the car a little less RPMs and use a little less fuel. So it's really up to the driver to make mileage in this series, and the pressure's on the driver solely. It's not happening from the pit lane through the management system.
And right behind Alex Tagliani, right there is the rookie Frank Pereira. Pereira, the 2006 Toyota F1 test driver. This is his first Long Beach start. First start in Champ Car in the very final Champ Car race. And doing very well right now as he is running in third behind Will Power, Alex Tagliani, and in front of Montigny and Graham Rahal. That is your top 5, and that is Justin Wilson with the longest walk in motorsports all the way back to the pit. We're going to take a commercial break with 1 hour and 22 to go here on the 34th running of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach.